What is the suya man's principle? Every time you go to buy suya, I'm not talking about those guys that already put it in a stick. That meat that is spread on that drum. When you go there, the local suya man, when you go there, what does this smart, wise suya man do? He cuts the best part of the meat, succulent, sweet part of the suya, and quickly put it on a pepper and drop it on some canvas for you. You also, without saying anything, you know what I mean. So you go either use a toothpick and you pick it and you eat. The minute you eat that suya, you must buy. Today is another episode of Young Folks Ask, and my name is Benga Richmond. And the question for today, the question burning in the hearts of young folks or young people is, what is the fastest way out of poverty? If you see me looking left, that's because I'm checking through my notes to make sure that I don't miss any juicy part for you in today's episode. So what is the young people ask, what is the fastest way out of poverty? So they think that getting out of poverty, is several things which we are going to go into briefly. We are going to go into right now. But my own opinion about the fastest way out of poverty is giving. I'm sure you're surprised that giving. I think that when you take and you gather and you acquire, then you're on your way to being rich. How can you give your way give your way out of poverty? Well, that's why this is such an interesting series or episode that I don't want you to miss. Grab your popcorn, sit tight, look for a quiet place, and let's dig in. Okay, so young people feel that the fastest way out of poverty are a couple of things. One of them is that they think getting a high-paying job will get them out of poverty. Unfortunately, it does not get you out of poverty. If you're earning 100,000 and you feel that, okay, now if I can get a job where I'm earning 500,000, I am going to get out of poverty fast. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen. Have you seen people around you, your colleagues, your neighbors, who their level has changed, so to speak? Their level has changed. They were earning 100,000 and staying in a face me I face you with you. All of a sudden now they're earning 500 or 700,000 and they have moved to a place and you have gone to visit them and they are still not exactly out of poverty. They have things. Maybe they have a car they're still paying a loan on. Maybe they have a house with a few electronics. But if you ask them deeply, they're still complaining about not having enough money, and that's exactly poverty, right? So then some young people feel that, okay, if he's not getting a high-paying job, then he must be getting a side income. So you're earning 100,000 or 200,000 or 300,000 as a graphic designer, and then you feel that, okay, I'm working for this company earning 300,000. What if I sign up on Upwork and then offer my graphic design service as a freelancer, and then maybe I get an extra $100 or $30 or $70 every month, and then you think that that's going to get you out of poverty? Unfortunately, look around you. If you are an example or you know someone around you who is doing exactly what I just explained, check whether they're out of poverty. The answer most of the time is no. Getting a side income does not get you out of poverty. Okay, how about getting a grant? How about you have an NGO or you have a very lovely business idea and you're applying for grants, and let's even assume that best case scenario you get this grant, UNFPA or USAID decides to give you $10,000 to kick off your startup or your program or your project. Young people think that getting that $10,000 lump sum is going to get me out of poverty. Some of the people who do TIP, this Tony Elumelu's awesome program, they have gotten $5,000. Go check the majority of them. Are they out of poverty? The answer is probably no. So, because that is not the way out of poverty. How about getting a loan? Young people feel that, well, I have this very laudable, awesome business idea that if I can just get like 2 million from my uncle or 2 million from the bank or 2 million from this microfinance bank, then I'm going to get right out of poverty. Loan is the fastest way into poverty instead of out of it. So if you take a loan, whatever type of loan you take, whether from friends, whether from family, whether from loan sharks, whether from wherever, it is the longest route out of poverty. That's if you ever get out of poverty. So I will advise you and beg you and kneel down for you, please do not consider loan as any route at all out of poverty. It's going to sink you deeper into poverty. And I'm talking from experience, right? It's going to take us deeper into poverty. And sometimes young people feel that, okay, not alone. Okay, how about a contract? Let me get a government contract. Let me get a contract from this company or this organization. Let me supply, sand. Let me supply whatever. Some people even think real estate. Let me help clients buy land. It's a form of contract. Let me help my clients find land or find a property, and then if I sell this property for 20, if I introduce a property that they buy for 20 million, I get 10% or 5%. That's some cool 2 million, and then I'm out of poverty. Unfortunately, even those who are the minute people who are lucky who get to sell a land or a property of 20 million, even 50 million, and they got the 5 million or 2.5, whether it's 5% or 10%, at the end of the day, they temporarily get out of poverty and ride right back into it. Okay, then some people are like, okay, no problem. The way out of poverty is lottery. Let me put this 5,000 down, Man U versus Arsenal. I'm not a football fan, so bear with me if I'm not using the right terms. Whatever. This person versus this person. I'm so sure this person is going to beat this person. This team is going to beat that team. And then you're like, I'm taking 5,000, to win 150,000. I'm taking 5,000 to win 5 million. How many people do you know like that in your neighborhood, or even if you're such a person? Even those who eventually win the 1.5, maybe they play 5,000, they won 1.5 million or 2 million. How long do they stay out of poverty before they dive back in? So winning a lottery it does not get you out of poverty. And have you noticed that people even abroad who win $1 million, $10 million, go and do the research, after like a couple of months to a few years, they are right back into poverty and into debt even. So how about shortcuts like Yahoo? If you're in Nigeria, you know what I'm talking about. What about if I do Yahoo, deceive some white man, and get some $10 million or $5 million? Okay, consider your boss who was arrested by FBI and then even the Dubai police. Hush puppy. He temporarily got out of poverty, in quote, and he was having the best time of his life, Gucci this, Gucci that, and everything. But where is he now? I'm sure you know the answer. So these things don't get you out of poverty. They might temporarily get you out, but when they catch up with you, they sink you deeper, into poverty. And then some people are like, okay, hook up. I mean, if a beautiful lady is like, okay, if I can get 10 men to sleep with me and they're giving me an average of 100,000 times 10 is $1 million. If I'm making $1 million in every 2 weeks, I mean, in a month, 2 million, 2 million times 12, that's 24 million. I should be, after 1 year and I've made 24 million, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop the hookup business or the hookup hustle, and then I'm going to be out of poverty. Ask around if you're a lady watching this, if you're into hookup or someone who's into hookup, check their life. Temporarily they might look like they have the latest iPhone, they have the latest Bond Straight or Brazilian hair, but how long are they able to keep up with that before some disease or they get out of, they are no longer relevant, or something happens, or maybe they get shot or they get used for rituals, or something just happens that they go right back into poverty. That's if they're still alive. So all of these things do not lead you out of poverty. So why don't they lead? If I'm able to make money from Yahoo, if I'm able to make money from a high-paying job, if I'm able to make money from a side income or a grant or a loan, how come I temporarily stay out of poverty and then dive back in and even deeper? What is the real reason? I'll tell you in a bit. Unfortunately, all of these above examples I've given is not going to get you out of poverty because of something called Parkinson's disease. I'm not talking about the medical term Parkinson's disease that people have that their hands starts to shake. No, I'm talking about Parkinson's disease in finance. Have you heard that before? You might have heard the Parkinson's disease as a medical term, but have you heard Parkinson's disease as a financial term? Well, if you've not heard, no wonder you are even currently, in poverty. So if you've heard it, what's the point of hearing and not doing? So there's something called the Parkinson's law, and I'm going to read out what the Parkinson's law says. Once you disobey this law, what comes is the Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's law states that expenses tend to rise to match income. In other words, as people earn more, they tend to spend more, making it challenging to save or build wealth. Did you get that? I'll take that again. Parkinson's law states that expenses tend to rise to match income. So this is your expenses, this is your income. So expenses will rise and match your income. Okay? Then in other words, as people earn more, this is your earnings graph. What happens? They tend to spend more. So you catch up with your earnings and even surpass it. That's called the Parkinson's disease. So when you break this law, it leads to something called the Parkinson's disease, all right? And that is a very terrible thing. Have you seen people who won the lottery, people who got a lump sum, people who, they are balling, going to parties and, Azul or whatever it is. I don't go to clubs, but they just serve everybody around, give everybody two bottles. I just made 2 million, I just made 10 million. That's Parkinson's disease, because eventually that money they made, 20 million, 30 million, 1 billion, if they keep up the expenses, is going to catch up and then surpass and then lead to something called Parkinson's disease. That is the reason why no matter how many high-paying jobs you have, no matter how many side incomes you have or you make, no matter how much you make in grant, no matter how much loan you collect, no matter how much contract, if your expenses catches up with your income, that this is your expenses, this is your income. If your expenses catches up with your income and even goes a little bit above it, you will remain poor. Okay, I had to take a pause so that will sink in. So now that we know the culprit, what is really causing poverty, which is the Parkinson's disease, as a result of disobeying Parkinson's law, what can we do about it? Or what else then is the fastest route out of poverty? So the fastest route out of poverty, number one, is to gift your gift. Gift your gift. Everyone born onto this earth, as your leg steps into this earth, as you are doing that your first cry as a baby, God has endowed you with a gift. It might be a gift to write, a gift to paint, a gift for carpentry, a gift for making this hat. This Louis Vuitton guy was given this gift, creative gift to make hats and other fabrics, as you know. A gift to, maybe you know how to barb. See how good I look. Someone made this possible. If I could, this popular thing they used to say, I cannot barb to save my life, but someone did such a good job. Okay, so grooming, you might have the gift of grooming, gift for this, gift for that. So that gift that God has given you, what should you do with it? Number one, discover it. Once you discover this gift, number two, develop it. So go for training, go for apprenticeship, go for read books on it, watch movies, watch YouTube, do everything to develop this gift. And after you develop this gift, you deploy it. Now, deploying is different from monetize. So what people do is that when they discover their gift, they develop it and then they try to monetize it. So you stay in poverty. What should you do? Discover this gift, develop this gift, and deploy it. How should you deploy it? Give it out for free. I know it sounds crazy, it sounds antiquado, doesn't make any sense, but there's sense out of nonsense. And the reason why you have been making sense to yourself all this while and you're still in poverty is because you have not tried this nonsense. What is this nonsense? Discover your gift, develop your gift, deploy it by giving it out for free. How do you do that? Let's say you're a graphic designer and you have discovered you're a graphic designer, you have developed this talent or gift as a graphic designer, and instead of monetizing immediately, you decide to volunteer in your church. You decide to start designing the e-flyers, the brochures, or whatever else that your church needs, and then you join the media department and start giving it out for free. What happens? A member will see it who is working somewhere where they need your design. Somewhere will see it and be like, I want to know. And of course, when you do that, make sure that somewhere very tiny place you put your number. Just put your number there. Put your name. If you don't have a registered name, just put your name and your phone number. Somebody somewhere will look at you and I need to know who designed this thing, and then they will find you. If you're smart enough to put your number somewhere, and then they call you and they're like, okay, I saw what you designed for X church and I really love it. Can you design, flyer for my cake business, flyer for my hat business, flyer for my fabric business, flyer for my wristwatch business or smart watch business, whatever, and then now they're the one asking to pay you. You don't try to get paid. You wait for them, you deploy, and then you wait for them to want to pay you. And then by the time you start getting paid, they start recommending you word of mouth here and there. Money is made, and if you avoid Parkinson's, then you will get out of poverty. The second route, another route out of poverty, very important, is to give your time and talent. Very similar to the first one, but a bit different. So give your time. Look for opportunities to volunteer. If you are looking to work for an organization, instead of following every other person to apply, send your resume, send your CV, send your cover letter, send your references and whatever, do something different. Go to the organization and volunteer. I want to work with you for 3 months. Don't pay me. I will take care of my transport and everything. Can you put me under somebody? I want to learn. I want to volunteer my time. I have this skill. I have this skill set. I want to volunteer in this organization. You don't have to pay me, but I also want an opportunity to just leave the house. Instead of me staying at home doing nothing, I want to offer my gift. I want to offer my experience. I want to offer my knowledge, to my skill set to you for free for the next 3 months in return for learning on the job and gaining experience that can then add to my CV and get a job. 7 out of 10 times that organization is going to hire you. You are saying you don't have a job because you haven't tried this nonsense. So go and try this nonsense and come back to the comment section and testify. So what is another way, fastest route out of poverty? Give a taste. I call it the suya man's principle. What is the suya man's principle? Every time you go to buy suya, I'm not talking about those guys that already put it in a stick. That meat that is spread on that drum. When you go there, the local suya man, when you go there, what is the first thing he does? As you're in queue, maybe somebody is in front of you buying suya and you're right behind. What does this smart, wise suya man do? He cuts the best part of the meat. He doesn't give you for those who don't like me, I hate fat. So at that time, you don't have to say, don't put fat. He will give you the best fat, succulent, sweet part of the suya and quickly put it on a pepper and drop it on some canvas for you. And then you also, without saying anything, you know what I mean. So you go, either use a toothpick and you pick it and you eat. My brother, my sister, the minute you eat that suya, you must buy. It's not like he's going to use the suya knife on you if you don't buy, but you become compelled. It's a spirit. It's a rule. It's a principle. He has offered you something. You are now compelled to do something back in return. Have you noticed, if a lady listening to this, if a man keeps giving you money, giving you gifts, giving you this, giving you that, giving you iPhone, giving you whatever, unconsciously and subconsciously, you want to pay him back. Even if he doesn't ask to sleep with you, before you know what's happening, you start dressing provocatively, going to his house so that he will sleep with you. It's a principle. It's a love life. Once you keep giving and giving and giving, people are compelled to give back to you in higher measure. Imagine I give you 10,000 and you give your body. Don't you think that your body is 100 times, 1,000,000 times more than the 10,000 I've given you? That's the principle you must, practicalize and effect. Now, how do you apply this suya man's principle? If you start making cake, do a cupcake and give it to members in your church. Do a cupcake and give it to your neighbors. Do a small cupcake and give it to any organization you belong to, any organization, any network you belong to. As they eat it, they are compelled to advertise it for you. But before you give it, make sure it's good. Like the suya man, he will not give you the part of the meat that doesn't make sense. Guess what even happens eventually? When you now say, give me 1,000 naira on, after you've taken the taste, he knows that maybe he's going to give you 15 pieces for one. That's another trick. He's going to give you 15 pieces for 1,000. So he has given you one. He has taken a mental note. So when he's cutting that suya for you, he will give you 13. Follow me. He will give you 13 because he knows you're going to say, this thing's small now, add more now. So you give it, he knows it's 15. Or he will give you 12. So he has given you one, he will give you 12 extra. Remaining what? Remaining 2. Because he knows you are still coming to say, God's small now, waiting happen now. So he will now cut the remaining 2 and add. He has still given you 15. 1 taster, 12 regular, 2 to make you feel like you got a bargain. And then he has the 15 suya to you. You give him the 1,000. He rinses and repeats. and it's doing well. So how do you apply that? Give, if it's a writing skill you have, write for free. Give it out as a sample to people. Somebody needs a PA, offer to do PA services for the person. At the end of the day, you get hired. So now, then give value in exchange for income. Don't just rush. I want to make money. What are you giving in return? And that thing you are giving, start by giving it free. Let them value it. Let them experience that value. And then eventually, even if they don't pay you directly, they will talk to people in their network who will now eventually pay you for the value. If you rinse and repeat that, that's the fastest way out of poverty, especially if you do not break the Parkinson's law. Now, I want to, as usual, I've gotten to a point where I now do a kind of like a Bible reference. I'm going to go into the Bible to say all these things I have been applying into my personal life with success. For example, you're watching this video for free. I could have created this into a course and charge 1,000 for it, and you will gladly pay, because you're getting mad value. But I decide to give you for free, because I'm following the same principle I'm teaching you. And then you wonder, why does this guy have no money in it? I'm following a principle I want you to follow today. So what are the Bible reference that adds more substance to all I've taught so far? Let's look at Proverbs. Proverbs, Proverbs is a book of wisdom. So Proverbs 11:25, the NIV version, says that a generous person will prosper. It didn't say a generous person may. It's a decree, it's a law. It's a law of life. A generous person will prosper. Who is a generous person? Someone who gives more than required. Someone who gives and it looks like he's just giving for no reason. That kind of person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others with their gift, refreshes others with their talent, refreshes others with something, will be refreshed. And the refreshment is in higher measure. It's a law of life. Then we summarize this when we are talking to each other by saying givers never lack. It sounds funny. If I give, if I have 10 naira and I give 1 naira, give another 1 naira, if I give 10 times, I should have 0. Funny enough, when you give 1 naira is remaining 9, give 1 naira is remaining 8, give 1 naira is remaining 7, maybe by the time it's remaining 6, somebody somewhere will just give you 20 naira. And then you start giving again 2 naira, 2 naira, 2 naira, it's almost finishing, somebody somewhere will give you 1,000. It's a law of life. Most people feel that generous people are foolish, but have you noticed that generous people keep having what to be generous about? They keep giving and they keep having to give. It's a law of life. Now, the second scripture is in Proverbs 22:7, NIV again. It says, the rich rule over the poor. The rich rule over the poor. And the borrower, the one who takes, is slave to the lender, the one who gives. Look at it. If you want to take from me, you stretch your hand. Me that I'm giving you, my hand is on top. It's a law of life. So if you stretch your hand, I'm always the one giving. I am already ahead of you. It says that the rich rules over the poor. And now added by saying, why is the rich rich? And the borrower, which is the poor, is slave to the lender. Why is the rich rich? They lend, they give. Why is the poor poor? They borrow. The more you have you looked at Nigeria? We are going on a massive borrowing spree. What do you think? We are poorer than every country that is giving to us. Even every individual that is giving to us, giving loans to us, we are poorer than them. It's a law of life. Now, the final scripture is Proverbs 11:24 KJV. It says, there is that scattereth. You just give 10,000, give 50,000, give 100,000, give 7,000, and yet increase it. How can you give an increase? And there is that withholdeth. Almost this 10,000, nobody can take it from me. And then they withholded more than is mean. No one is saying don't withhold, but they withhold more than necessary. They withhold everything. Nothing must come out. I'm not a channel. Any money that enters into me stays here. No, it's not going out. They withhold more than is necessary, or they withhold more than is meet. And what happens? It tended to poverty. When someone gives you 10,000 naira, make sure that out of that 10,000 naira gift, you give something out. That way, money will keep flowing to you. ideas, opportunities, people will give into your bosom. And that's how it works. What's a real life story I can give you? My time is almost up. A real life story is what I'm doing right now. I am giving to you value, wisdom. I sit down, I do the research, I pray, I hear from the Holy Spirit, I come back here and answer a burning question you have as a young person. You apply what I teach and you start to prosper. What do you think happens to me? I will prosper. Let me read it to you again. A generous person will prosper. In case you're wondering, why is this guy just giving us so much value? He's not charging for it. He's taking his time. He's coming here. Time is money. Oh, why are you teaching us for free? A generous person will prosper. Right now, I'm prospering. I don't have money needs because my needs are supplied, not through you, but through another means. A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes, I'm refreshing you with wisdom. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. So that's a personal example I want to give you in such a short time. I have other examples, but time will not permit me. This thing I'm giving to you for free, I'm refreshing you, and I'll be refreshed more than I have refreshed you. It's a law of life. How does this apply to in Green Area? If you have not watched the 7-day prophecy I gave about a new Nigeria, please look for it on this YouTube page and watch it. Then you will understand what I'm about to say. If Nigeria wants to get out of poverty, we have to start giving our way out of poverty. We have to become the lenders. Let us lend food to other nations. Let us lend technology to other nations. Let us lend anything and everything that God has blessed us with to other nations. Let's stop receiving grants, receiving loans, receiving grants, receiving loans. Let's start giving grants, let's start giving loans. And then we will get out of poverty. In Green Area, that's exactly what's going to happen. God has blessed us with so many resources, and we're going to start giving that resources out instead of just receive grant, receive loan, receive this, receive that. We start giving. We start becoming productive. Instead of being consumptive, we become productive, and that way we start getting out of poverty into the wealth promised to us in Green Area. So my question to you today, I've come to the end of this session. I hope you gained one or two things. I want you to go into the comment section and answer this question. Based on everything I've shared so far, tell me, what is the fastest way out of poverty based on your own opinion, and give a personal experience or the experience of somebody else who applied that principle and then they are now out of poverty. The best comments, as I always say, the best comment or comments gets a surprise gift which will be announced on our Telegram group, which means you need to go to our Telegram group in the description, check out for the link and join the Telegram group so that you can watch out for the announcement of the winners. Apart from just winning, updates and all that, every time I do a video I put it there so that you can get updated. Then there's a Green Mentorship Program coming on my birthday, the 31st of December. It's going to be free again. That's me giving you wisdom on business, wisdom on leadership, wisdom on workplace success. I might even extend it and give you wisdom for relationship and marriage. Now all of this is going to be done for free. I'm going to be turning 40 December 31st 2024, and it's a way for me to give back to you again. What is the fastest way out of poverty? Giving. I'm going to give back through the Green Mentorship Program, and I know that I'll be blessed. I've been blessed. Every time I gift, I know I'm going to be blessed again as I give you. So if you learned a lot from this, imagine what you will get at the Green Mentorship Program coming up December 31st. Make sure that you join the Telegram group so that you can get updates about that. And then there's also a form that you can fill, in a Google form in the description, that you can fill and be part of the first 500 that's going to get the Green Mentorship Program for free. So as I will say, please subscribe so that you can keep getting notifications when I bring another nugget like this. Please share this to someone that you know is probably in poverty, is wondering why am I wallowing in poverty, who can learn something from what I've shared. And then come to the comment section, let's discuss this further, and then the best comments get a gift. See you in Green Area. God bless you.